I still remember the day it happened like it was yesterday. My name is Claire, and I'm a mother to a 15-year-old boy named Ethan. From the outside, our lives might have looked ordinary, maybe even simple, just a single mom working long shifts as a nurse and raising her only son. But inside our home, like so many families, we were navigating the struggles of growing up, miscommunication, and the invisible lines that exist between a parent and a child. The day began like any other. It was Saturday morning, and I had just finished a 12-hour night shift at the hospital. My feet were aching, my eyes were heavy, and all I wanted was to come home, change into something comfortable, and rest. When I walked in, I found Ethan sitting on the couch with his phone in his hands, lost in a world of videos. "Morning, Mom," he muttered without looking up. "Morning, honey," I replied, trying to keep my exhaustion from showing. I walked into the kitchen and noticed the sink full of dishes, even though I'd asked him the night before to take care of them. It was a small thing, but after an exhausting shift, it felt huge. I called out, "Ethan, we need to talk about the dishes." He groaned. "Mom, I was busy." That was when the tension began building. It wasn't just about the dishes, it was about responsibility, respect, and how we both were learning to live in this space together. Later that afternoon, the real moment happened. I was sitting on the couch, sipping tea, finally getting a chance to relax. Ethan came in from his room, frustrated over something that had happened online with his friends. He slammed his backpack down and muttered words under his breath. "Ethan," I said softly, "you can't take your anger out on me." He snapped back, louder than I'd ever heard him. "You don't get it, Mom. You're always on me about everything. Why can't you just let me be?" His tone was sharp, crossing that invisible boundary of respect between us. For a moment, my heart sank. I wasn't just a tired mom. I was a woman who had sacrificed so much for him, and hearing those words cut deep.
I didn't yell.
Instead, I stood up and calmly said, "Ethan, you crossed a boundary just now. I am your mom, and I deserve respect. I know you're frustrated, but that doesn't give you permission to speak to me like that." The silence after was heavy. His eyes widened, as if he hadn't realized how far he'd gone. I could see the anger melting into guilt on his face. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice cracking a little. That apology wasn't just a word, it was a turning point. We sat down together, and I told him the truth. I explained how hard I worked not only to provide, but to be there for him. I admitted that sometimes I nagged, but it was because I loved him and wanted him to grow into someone strong, kind, and responsible. Ethan listened, tears welling up in his eyes. "I didn't mean it like that. I get so mad sometimes, and I don't know what to do." That was the moment I realized that as much as Ethan was growing up, he was still learning how to handle big emotions. He wasn't crossing boundaries to hurt me, he was testing limits because he didn't yet know how to process what he was feeling. From that day on, we made changes. We started a new rule in the house. No matter how upset we were, we would speak with respect. We also began setting aside 30 minutes each night, no phones, no TV, just us talking. Some nights he shared about school, other nights we sat in silence, but those moments rebuilt trust. The months went by, and I noticed Ethan changing. He became more thoughtful, more aware of his tone, and more willing to admit when he was wrong.
And me?
I became more patient, realizing that parenting wasn't about being perfect, but about guiding my son through the storms of adolescence. Looking back now, that day when my son crossed a boundary could have pushed us apart. Instead, it became the day that pulled us closer together. It reminded us both that love is not about never making mistakes, it's about what you do after. That is the truth of my story. And maybe, if another parent is watching this, they'll know they're not alone when their child tests the limits. Boundaries matter, but so does forgiveness, and sometimes the hardest moments become the most meaningful ones.